welcome to Baking Soda Challenge number 2. So last week we did an experiment using baking soda and vinegar, and we observed what happened during the reaction. This week we'll be doing the same experiment, but with a new twist. We'll be trying to figure out a question based on the experiment, which is the mixture, the reaction of baking soda and vinegar, exothermic or endothermic? Now the catch is, I can't actually tell you the answer to that question in this video. That's something that's reserved for our lab notebook only. However, I will be showing you the steps necessary to figure this out. In this case, the experiment will be involving temperature change, and we'll be using this thermometer to discover the temperature change during the reaction. So, through the reaction, we'll be taking 3 measurements, one of just our vinegar before we begin the experiment, one 15 seconds into the experiment, which will determine the temperature during the experiment, and finally, one measurement after the experiment has finished and after most of the reaction has ended to determine the final temperature change. Alright, so let's begin. We're going to start with a pre-measured amount of our white vinegar. Now, as you can see, this is a generic brand of white distilled vinegar, which has also been diluted to a 5% acidity. So here we have in a Pyrex measuring cup, we have 300 milliliters of vinegar. So we're going to add this to our main bowl here. Alright, very nice. Now, before we add our pre-measured baking soda, we'll be using this thermometer to determine the temperature of the vinegar. This has been at room temperature, hasn't been refrigerated or heated or anything. Just room temperature, we're going to determine this temperature. So let's see. Alright, the thermometer is fluctuating a little bit. Let's just give it a moment to determine its temperature. Alright, right at about 71.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Very good. We're going to begin our experiment, and then 15 seconds after the experiment has begun, we'll take one more measurement, and then one after the reaction ends. So next, we're going to add our half cup of pre-measured baking soda from Arm & Hammer. It's pure baking soda. So when we add this, the experiment will begin, and we'll observe how the temperature changes. Alright, here we go. Ready? Let's do it. So, right now you can see the bubbling occurring. This is the reaction. And we're going to wait about 15 seconds from when we began. So then we'll take our measurement and determine how it changes. Alright, so it's been 15 seconds. 66.2 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. And then after the experiment has ended, we're just going to wait a couple more moments. There's still some significant bubbling occurring. Alright, now's a good time to do it. Let's go for a third and final measurement. Alright, a very good drop in temperature, in fact. Right now we have a measurement of 59.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, that's a radical change over when we began the experiment. Very good, we conducted this well. Now let's go into our results. Alright everybody, so through our past experiment with our 3 measurements before, during, and after the baking soda and vinegar reaction, we discovered that the temperature dropped tremendously through the reaction. In fact, a total drop of 11.7 degrees Fahrenheit. And because it's gotten so cold, I've suited up accordingly. Alright, so this was a great experiment. I think it went really well. We took all the data that we needed to make our final decision on our question, which was whether or not this reaction is exothermic or endothermic. I'd love to tell you on camera, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to. However, I encourage you to see my lab notebook to determine the final answer, which I will have extrapolated by class. Alright, so this was great. I really enjoyed making this video for you, and I'll see you next time in chemistry.